Alright folks, welcome to section 1B. What is CRT? CRT was an epiphany I had a while back. Right? Now the story is, as you might know, is I started off as an ICT student, right? And before that, I actually started off as a student of the charts. So I've studied supply and demand, I've studied Elliott waves, classical price action, Gann, Wyckoff. I've studied stuff you probably haven't even heard of. Right? I've dug really deep into the knowledge that's out there. And then I stumbled across ICT, right? And what I saw was that he had gathered everything else and refined it and summarized it and gathered it in one place and called it ICT, right? So for that, he does get the credit, right? He's the greatest market historian of the modern century. But the fault is the long rants, which I admit I may be slightly similar to in that aspect, but a lot better, right? It's a lot less worse than what he does. So what I did was I took all of ICT's material and I did what he did to the technicals before him, right? And the conclusion was CRT and turtle soup. Now, it is extremely unlikely that this happens ever again. So I'm pretty sure that technical analysis has peaked. Right? The peak is here with CRT. Nobody has anything else to teach after this. Right? With the stuff me and ICT have put out, there is nothing left to be taught. Stop looking, and there goes the neighbor again. Stop looking for a holy grail. And I'm not sure how this is going to sound after it's recorded. Let's see. I know this one's going to get a lot of complaints, but those complaining, you simply have to deal with it and weed out the information. Skip forward this part when you watch it later. Now, what is CRT? CRT is the most modern, the most complete form of technical analysis. It stands for candle range theory. Which means every single candle you see is a range, right? And this range can either be broken out of and continue downwards, right? Close below. Or it can be turtle suit, then it rallies, right? Or vice versa, 2 weeks above. Right. That's the summary. The summary is every single candle is a range, and using the current range and the previous range, you will try and predict the next range. That's it. Right. That's the easy way. To lay foundation. Right. Now, CRT is based on the idea that there's going to be one accumulation candle, one manipulation candle, and then a distribution candle, right? So it is a 3-candle model, and this I presented it in 2023, early 2023, in a previous private teaching I had, right? As the 3-candle model, but that was introduction. That wasn't everything. So CRT is 3 candles. Candle 1, candle 2, candle 3. Candle 1, accumulation. You don't touch this as a beginner. You don't touch this as a beginner. You trade this one onwards. And this is the revolution of CRT. Before CRT, nobody was showing the higher time frame specific candles as trades, right? And anyone who claims they were is lying and full of shit, right? Excuse my language. That's the truth, right? Anyone, it's become common to see this drawing of 3 candles, right? Higher time frame candles being used as trades, focusing on candles instead of zones. That happened after CRT, right? It was never the norm. The norm was, before I joined social media, the norm was, and you might be a victim to this, is trying to trade every market structure shift on the 1 minute, right? But this is wrong. This is bullshit. Right? What we're trying to do is trade the range of each candle. Not all the candles, right? That's another common mistake, which is the beginner tries to trade every single candle he can trade, right? That's wrong. If you do that, you will simply burn out and you won't trade anymore. Right? So for those watching, you are going to be one of 2. You're going to be a beginner, and the beginners are allowed only to trade candle number 3. The advanced may trade candle number 2, even number 1, right? But the main rule is this: beginner, candle number 3, advanced, candle number 1, right? The whole idea is to narrow down your focus from a pattern. This is not a pattern. CRT is not a pattern. And you will fall victim to this. You watching right now, you will try and force it as a pattern, and you will fail every single time. Well, you might succeed sometimes, but the times you succeed are because it's not a pattern, right? Because it's working as a logic. CRT is not a pattern. It's not it's you see some people, some ignoramus on Twitter, some fool who doesn't know what he's talking about, might talk about it as an inside bar, right? Which is completely just, it shows lack of understanding, right? It's seeing this range, right? And seeing what happens to this range is it going to be broken out of or turtle soup? And then trading this specific range, this candle range, CRT, this candle's range, trading its turtle soup to the 50% and target 2 later, the opposing end of the range. All right. So to summarize the whole system, to lay a strong foundation, and you better be taking notes. Right? I know some of you are not. Stop being lazy. Take notes, because you're going to need to watch this at least 3 times to make the most of it. All right, so you're trying to trade the range of a specific candle, right? This could be a 1-hour range. This could be a 4-hour range. This could be a 1-day range. This could be a 1-week range. This could be a month range. You're trying to choose one candle and trade its range. All right? Now the rules are as follows. Here's a candle. It's making gray. And my charts are black and gray to remove emotion from the equation. All right? Because psychologically, when you see a green candle, then when you buy and you see it exploding upwards, nice green candles, then your brain links it to money and you become happy, and happiness is an emotion, and we want to eliminate all emotions from our trading, right? More on that in section 2. So, here's a candle. This is CRT, right? Candle range. Now this candle range, you mark the high, you mark the low. You're expecting a turtle soup at the low of this candle. Right here. Now as soon as you see them stabbing into this candle, right? They stab into this candle and they wick below it without closing below the candle. Then you automatically assume that they're going to go and attack in the next candle the 50% of this candle of the range, and eventually the opposing end of the range. All right? All right, remember, 3 candles, CRT low, a turtle soup, and then 50% and the opposing end of the range, right? And an important point is, so you avoid pattern trading this, it's not a pattern, it is liquidity pools, right? So what's happening here is, in this candle right here, what happened is that this created 2 liquidity pools, buy side over here and sell side. So sellers are waiting below here to sell the continuation, the breakout, right? And buyers are above here waiting to buy the breakout, right? With old sellers, of course, having their stop loss here and buyers having stop loss here. So what the market maker is going to do is he's going to push he's going to push price, usually with an inside bar as well, right? So it's chop, 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 and then it's going to be pushed into one side of this liquidity pool, this candle, right? Sell side and buy side. So when the market maker pushes price below this liquidity pool, then the sellers are triggered. Everyone's selling down here, and if you have a minimum amount of experience in the markets, then you've experienced this, right? Selling when it goes down, which is wrong. So the sellers are buying down here, selling down here. Buyers have been stopped out, early buyers, and then it suckers them in. It uses them as fuel and rallies. Once you see this rejection, once you see this price stabbing into an old low, rejecting and rallying, then you automatically assume that it's going to go and attack the 50% of the range as a safe target one. Now, you can trade the low to the 50% or the high to the 50%, and that can be your career. That can be your career, right? I have a lot of students who that's all they do. All they do is trade one side of the range to the 50%, and that's it. They're done, right? And the win rate that way is a lot higher. All right, so CRT low, CRT high. It's a generation of liquidity, right? It's a range. You wait for one side to be taken, then it goes straight to the other sides, right? So it's, now replay what I said in the past 5 minutes and compare that to the inside bar narrative, right? Just to see how ridiculous that is. It's a logic, it's a system. It's a whole system. It is how the market moves. It's not a pattern. So that concludes section 1B, what is CRT? And see you in the next one.